Hey folks, welcome back to Coco Rare Coins and Currency. The topic of today's video is a question we get asked a lot, which is collecting coins. Is this an investment or is it a hobby? Well, before I give you my answer to that question, let's define a couple of terms. And I've got some notes here, so excuse me. According to the dictionary, a hobby is an activity done regularly in one's leisure time for pleasure. So, sure, coin collecting is a hobby. Okay. According to the dictionary, an investment is, quote, action or process of investing money for profit or material result. It goes on. An investment is an asset or item acquired with the goal of generating income or future value appreciation. According to that definition, coin collecting can be an investment. It can also be a hobby. Okay, there's a ton of hobbies out there. Some folks like to go fishing. Okay, I do too. Nothing wrong with going fishing. However, if I'm in the mood for seafood, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna drive down to Red Lobster and I'm gonna tear that place up. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, but some folks, they will go out. They'll buy themselves a $50,000 bass boat, drive 40 miles to the nearest lake to go out at 6 o'clock in the morning to catch a $2 fish. And if that's what they enjoy, that's what they enjoy. More power to them. I'm not dissing that at all. So what you have to keep in mind about a hobby versus an investment is there's a lot of hobbies out there that just don't have any income potential whatsoever. Okay, coin collecting is one of those that can 100% be a hobby, but it can also generate potential return on investment. So think of bingo. Okay, bingo's cool. When I retire, I plan to play a ton of bingo down in Florida. Okay, so play bingo. You go in, you give them $10. If you win, you get $500 or whatever their pot is. Okay, so bingo is fun. It's a hobby. Can you make money on it? You can. It's sort of like playing the lottery over long periods of time. You're not going to come out ahead, but it's part of the fun. Okay. So in that regard, coin collecting is both a hobby and an investment. Now, I ought to be real clear with everybody. I ought to be super clear with you. If you do not enjoy collecting coins, do not get into this, period. Coin collecting is not a guaranteed investment. A guaranteed investment over long periods of time is going to be stuff like your 401k at work, IRAs, things of that nature. But coin collecting is something you need to enjoy first. And if you can make a little money off of it on the back end, that's great. So there's a website, usacoinvalues.com. And what they did, which I'm going to put the information below if you want to check it out. So apparently what this website has done, I've not checked this information. I'm assuming that what they did is they looked at old red book values, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So what they did is they put together sort of a chart that shows you what a particular coin would have done over a period of time based on a condition. So one of the most popular Morgan dollars out there, the 1881S, which I addressed in one of my previous videos, back in the year 2000. Okay, I'm going to throw the chart up here right now. So the 1881S, back in the year 2000, in extra fine 40 condition, was worth $14. Today, it's worth $32. Okay, cool. So you doubled your money. But it took 20 years to do it. That might not be the world's greatest investment. Okay. If we take a look at the 1881S, MS67, so now we're talking about a super high grade version of that same coin. In the year 2000, it was worth $550. Today, it's worth $750. Over 30 years, you gain 25, 30%. Not sure that's a great investment. Okay. Another coin that's pretty popular, the 1917 Type 1 quarter. I did a video on this. I have one here. 1917 Type 1. This is graded very fine 25. This is the coin that caused all the scandal back in the day because there was an exposed breast, which the mint later had to correct. I've got another video on that. But anyways, the 1917 Type 1 quarter, back in the year 2000, in extremely fine condition, it was worth $60. Today it's worth $100. Okay, so it went up, almost double, but it took you 20 years to get there. In high grade, MS65, back in the year 2000, it was worth $750. Today, though, it's only worth $675. So the value went down. Okay, so some of this, issue with coin values has to do with the condition. Certain, same identical coin, in one condition can go up, and in another condition can go down. Okay. One of the rarest Morgan dollars, in fact, the rarest Morgan dollar out there, the 1895 proof. Okay, there were only 880 of these minted. They were never intended for general circulation. Again, these are proof coins. So 1895 Morgan dollar proof. Only 880 of them were ever minted. Probably half that number still survive. But back in the year 2000, in proof 64 condition, it was worth $25,000. Today it's worth about $70,000. Well, that's an awesome return on investment. I mean, you're talking about tripling in value over 20 years. That's awesome. What you have to keep in mind about a coin like the 1895 Morgan dollar proof is it is so hard to locate. Remember, there are only 880 ever minted. There might be 300 or 400 that still exist. So when they do come up for auction, it's not very common. Okay, so there might be one that comes up for auction today. You might not see another one come up for auction for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, so one of the things that drives coin values, especially when you're dealing with super rare coins like the 1895 proof Morgan dollar, is sometimes rich guys, they get into bidding wars. Okay, if you've ever bid on eBay or anything like that, you're familiar with this. It's like, yeah, okay, I pay him $100 for that, and then somebody else comes in and bids you 102, and you're like, I ain't gonna let that guy take I'm gonna show him. And next thing you know, you're in a bidding war and you end up overpaying for stuff. That happens in the coin world too. Okay, so here's my advice to you. You should be collecting because you enjoy collecting coins, period. Can they go up in value? Of course. Can they go down in value? Yeah, of course they can. Over long periods of time, I don't think you're going to lose your butt coin collecting, so to speak. If you buy the coins right, hold them for 20, 30 years, you'll probably, at minimum, be able to sell them for what you paid for them. Okay, so obviously there's inflation and to consider over those years. But coin collecting is not like spending $50,000 on a bass boat to catch a $2 fish. Okay, so you'll be able to recoup most of your money, at least a large portion of it, if down the road you decide coin collecting is just not for me, I'm moving on to another hobby. You can go sell your collection, and in most cases you'll be able to get out of your collection at least a reasonable amount of what you put into it. So my answer is, coin collecting a hobby or an investment? It's both. Primarily it's a hobby. Your investments need to stay in your 401ks, folks. Thanks. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you next week.